The other aspect of Lauren's worry that stands out to me were the conversations we started to have as she progressed. And she was worried about dying, and she was worried about being alone, and she was worried about what 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 does it look like? What's it going to feel like? What's it? And Lauren was, I think that was on her mind probably from the beginning.
Yeah.
Um, but we, I think, very proactively started creating a space for her to bring up those thoughts and those fears with her siblings too. And I think that that was shared, especially with Emma too. She was remarkable in her willingness to engage about it with a maturity that I just, I can say that is unique among children her age. Um, and I think it reminded me of the very true statement that Amy said to Lauren that just resonated so deeply, and that is, um, cancer is not taking your joy away. Your worry is taking your joy away. Don't let cancer. We're trying our best to manage the cancer. You and all of us. Let's tackle the worry, because that's really gonna steal all the joyful and the hopes and dreams that you have for your life. And so it allowed for the space for Lauren to think of what she wanted to be when she grew up and talk about what she wanted to be when she grew up. And all the dreams and all the ambitions that she had were no less important or poignant. And giving her the space to do that, I felt like it was empowering to her. And it kind of gave her a little sense of self agency back, even though the rest of her life seemed like outside of her control.
Erin told me, she said, we have to start having these conversations with Lauren. She's ready. She's thinking about it. Even if you don't think she's thinking about it, she is. So you have to have a conversation about dying. And I said, there's just no way. I cannot have that conversation. And Erin said, you can. I know you can. And I said, when does this come up? Like, how am I going to know? I'm never going to know. I'm not going to recognize it. And Erin said, you will recognize it. And the day that Erin's talking about, that they were in clinic. So I always brought each of our kids to clinic because we were spending so much time with our new family that it was important for the other kids to meet the people we talked about, to see the sights, to smell the smells, to really know what Lauren's day was like. And it was always like when Emma came, it was bigger than second grade or bigger than third grade. That stuff in the rear view mirror doesn't matter how many days of second grade you missed. It mattered that you were with your sister. And they were talking about heaven and dying. And Dan's work schedule is not as flexible as mine, and he happened to just be in the area and stopped by the clinic that day. And we started talking about it. Dan's mom died a year after we were married. And so they started asking him about his mom and what does he think about her and where does he think she is? And we talked about that, and we talked about heaven. And then Erin walked in, and I was like mouthing, it's happening, like today, like I think this is the day. And then you helped us expand that conversation. Like, you know, some people have goals that they want to achieve, or what do you think is important? And then you told us what you think heaven looks like. And, it was just like this conversation I was so scared to have, so scared. And it turned out to be a really empowering and beautiful conversation. And
I,
I was so glad you gave me the confidence that I would recognize it because I knew to look for it then.
and I think it was one of those moments where, you know, we had to say a lot of I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know when, that's gonna happen. Um, but here's what and we could follow up that conversation with, but here's what I do know. I do know that you will not be alone, that you will be in a place that you feel most comfortable, that it will not hurt. Um, and the rest we will be with you the whole way and figure out as we go. And that she received that.
Okay.
I couldn't make it any, I couldn't make it okay. I couldn't say that, it wasn't going to happen, but to be able to reassure about the things you don't know and the things that you do know and what you'll do to minimize the uncertainty. That's all you can do.